Alright guys, hello and welcome back to my Bankroll Challenge series here on YouTube. This is episode 3. We're here playing some 10 cent, 25 cent, no limit hold'em on fullfleshpoker.com. I've been playing 25, 50 cent before, but I thought I'd try to switch it up for you guys a little bit, and also couldn't really find a 25, 50 cent game that was running right now, so playing a little bit smaller stakes, but we're still going to try to run it up as much as possible. We ended with $140 in our last video. We had a loss in a $10 tournament, but I played a little bit with our bankroll and forgot to record it for you guys, so we're actually sitting at about, let me look, we're sitting at $265 now, so we're doing pretty well. Our bankroll is getting large enough to the point now where we could consider playing higher. But again, I think sticking at 10.25 and 25.50 cent is the smartest decision. Taking shots at higher stakes, I mean, even to play 50 cent dollar, we'd have to gamble for almost a third of our bankroll, or actually a little bit more than a third of our bankroll. So don't see a point to do that. So we post here from the big blind. And this is our first hand of this session. I have not played with any of these players before, so no reads to count for it just yet. Let me just 1 second. Okay. Against a $1.85 raise, there's enough in the pot that I think we can call here, try to flop a set. If there wasn't these two 50 cents in there, I would be more inclined to fold this hand, and obviously, again, not folding to a little bit more, basically a min re-raise. So we failed in the flopping a 3 department, and normally I would consider the fact that we still have the best hand, but honestly on King 9-8 with 2 clubs, I really just don't see how. He would have to have a hand like Ace Queen, Ace 10, Ace Jack specifically. If it checks around, I'll consider doing something. But on the 7 turn card again, any hand with a 6 through a Jack or a Queen is interested in this board. So I'm just gonna try to get our hand to keep cheap showdown. Against an all-in, I would have actually considered calling, but when he calls, it's obvious that we're just drawing to 2 outs. So easy fold. Aces and 10s. So I was right in our endeavor to try to flop a set. I knew that was what we needed, and luckily we didn't hit a type of board like deuce deuce 4 where we would have liked our hand and gotten it on. Queen 3 offsuit from the small blind, just gonna fold. I've decided to make these videos a little bit shorter for you guys. I realized the first one, cash game session we played, was an hour, which is a little bit too long, I think. So I decided what I'm going to do is either make them 30 to 40 minute max, and or I'll try for a button steal here, or until we lose 1 buy-in at any given table. So just to make them more compacted and easy for you guys to watch. So we get 3-bet here in position against Blue Panda. I think we can call here profitably long term. Our hand is pretty bad, but we are in position. Flop total air. If he continues, I think we just lose this pot, unfortunately. We do have backdoor diamonds and a backdoor straight draw, but don't see how we win. Yeah, $2. Yeah, I don't see how we win this pot. I had a little bit of devious intentions with the backdoor 6 high diamonds and the 6, 7, 8, but not this time. So definitely going to be looking to play some pots with Blue Panda. He's one of the only players at the table that's going to be able to double us up, for sure. Same with D-Dilts. Trying to stay away from pots with Nardave without premium hands, considering that he's a short stack. Just fold the deuce 3 offsuit from the cutoff. hopefully Nardave will go broke soon and go for a big revive. This could be it if he's getting raised on that board. I expect him to shove with any king here, even some tens, ace queen, ace jack, hands like that, pair and gutters. I would definitely be shoving. Just a call. When both those players check, it's pretty obvious neither of them has a straight, I would say. It looks more like something like a two-pair type hand. And decision is being put to a decision. They both decide that he had it. I don't know if I would have believed him if I was in one of their spots and I had a hand like Queen 10 or King Jack. I don't know if I would have believed him. Suited ace, raising pot, pretty standard. A lot of players at these stakes don't play properly based on the blind sizes, considering, oh, you know, a 60-cent raise is 2.5x, but at the same time, they're like, we just want to play higher, so they'll, you know, open to $2 off of 25 cents. So you get into funny spots in these 10-25 games where you don't really know if... So we get called here, 2 players. On a 6-turn card, if it was a king, king, a queen, I might consider doing something, but on the 6, I just don't really see how we're getting them to lay down anything that they weren't going to fold on the flop that we're not beating. And we still beat all the flush draws, except flush draws with 6s in them. And on the 428 on the turn into 3 players, I would not be surprised if Blue Panda actually has 3 jacks. Or one of these players has to. I am 100% positive we are drawing dead. That's for sure. So if D-Delts decides to lead, it can definitely look like Miss Clubs. I don't think that that's a good... Yeah, if he decides to lead, it for that small, it actually does look more like a jack. I think he'd go a little bigger with Miss Clubs. He has to... Yeah, he definitely has a full house. Quad jacks. That's going to do it. So I was right, we were drawing dead on that flop, so I'm happy that we decided not to put any more money in the pot. Gonna be min raising under the gun, only because there's a little bit less money in the pot, so we won't be able to win as much because he was out. Flop king. Gonna be going for straight up value right off the bat. It's a pretty dry board. Definitely don't want to be saying aces, 4s, or 5s though. Half pot bet should get the job done. He decides we have the best hand, and he is correct. So stuck a little bit, $7 at the beginning of the session, but nothing too out of the ordinary. Most of it from that initial hand with the pocket 3s against the aces and 10s, which would have been very nice to flop a 3 in that hand because we probably would have tripled up, depending on how the action would have gone. There's definitely a world where we check a set, he ships it, he calls on, 3, 7, 8, and we get it all in with a 90% hand. So definitely like our call pre-flop there. I think we'll double up or triple up enough of the time that the times when we lose $4, it is totally okay. Not a great hand, but suited cards, even out of position for 15 cents to win $1.50. I can't pass that up, or $1.25. I can't pass that up. So pretty good flop for us. We flop backdoor straight draw and a flush draw. 2 backdoor straight draws, actually. I actually like leading here in this spot because I think that it's likely that to win this pot we are going to have to make our hand because it is a 4-way pot, so I like setting ourselves up to bluff later. 7 is not a great turn card for us, although it's not a great turn card for them either. I think I like check calling now. I don't think we're getting them to fold a jack. Yeah, against $1.50 and a call, I think we can actually call here pretty profitably. If we do hit a heart, we can value town them pretty hard. When we break out, I just don't think, again, I don't think if one of these guys has an ace, they're never folding. So I think that we just check it. Yeah, ace 10. We were never getting to lay that hand down, unfortunately. Um, 5-3 on the button. I'd consider doing something a little crazy if he had a little bit more money, but I think against Sexy 1901 we just fold. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like this table is playing too aggressively, so it's going to be kind of difficult for us to get our money in. A lot of times with these smaller stakes tables, I try to look for games where the average pot size is a little larger, just because that usually means people are playing a more spewy game style, and it's more conducive to us winning money if we're just a little bit more patient and wait for good hands. But this is looking like the type of table where us being more aggressive might be more profitable, so I think I'm going to be adjusting to that. Case in point here, I mean, ace 4 never decided to bet on that entire board. Pocket 4 is the same. Never decided to bet. So 2 8s, I think $1.10. Let's go a little bit larger. Let's go $1.20. Pot is usually fine in that spot, but again, I think we should be getting more aggressive at this table, especially with a premium hand like 8s. Get some folds out of the blinds. Sexy decides to limp call $1.20 under the gun. A great flop for us. No overcards to our pocket eights. I'm fairly certain we have a best hand when Sexy limp calls. Looks a lot like a king 10, king jack, king queen, ace queen, ace jack type of hand. Ace 10 maybe. So I like a $3 bet into 4. Get some value. If he has clubs, he's probably just going to ship it. We would definitely be calling a shove there for sure from either of those players, and make him pay to draw with 2 overcards. Is a spot where we know we have the best hand, but he can put us in a lot of tough spots if any card higher than a 10 hits the turn. You know, we're put to a decision on basically queens, kings, and aces, and you know that's 12 cards out of the deck. So it's a good spot to get some value on the flop. Versus it's not a great spot to slow play your hand, because when you slow play on that board, yeah, you do have an overpair, but you rarely get them to try to put in money with the worst hand. So I think that just trying to go for value and having him, you know, deuce deuce 3 or whatever it was, deuce deuce 5, he's going to be putting in money with ace jack, ace queen. He's going to be putting in money so often when he's so far behind us that I think that betting for straight up value there definitely plays best. I mean, chances are he limp called into the gun with a hand like 9-10, king 10, something like that, that was just complete error on that board and couldn't do anything about it. Queen 9 under the gun. I think this is just bad enough that we can fold. I know I said I'd like to be getting more aggressive at this table, but I think that Queen 9 is just bad enough that we can let it go. No real players are making any moves that really stand out to me. Sexy 1091 doesn't seem like the best player at the table for sure. Anytime that a player buys in for less than the max buy at this small stakes of a table, it just get punished with the 9 queen, of course. It just makes you think that they're not as good of a player as they probably are. 2 5s. Wow, we would have stacked off against D-Dilts on the river if we had gotten there. Ace 10 of diamonds in the big blind. Depending on how big the raise size is, I think I like 3-betting. Against an under the gun 3x, I think I'll just be calling. Yes, with that many players in the pot, I think I like just a call. Backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw, ace high. If decision folds and sexy folds, I will consider calling. I don't know. I mean, the problem is that we kind of 9 Jack really smashes his range. We're definitely gonna have to catch up if we want to get him to fold. I mean, maybe we get him to fold on kings. I think when we miss this hard, I mean, the Queen of Diamonds is the gin card for us, and we can turn aces and tens. I think we can call. I don't hate it too much. 4 diamonds is a good card for us. On that card, I think I like check raising. I think we get him to fold nines, some jacks when we check raise. Yeah, I think I definitely like just going all in. I have to assume that aces, possibly even tens, and all diamonds are going to be outs. And so if we get him to fold a jack, then I definitely like going all in. He is not folding. He has 2 queens, and we missed. So unfortunately, I didn't think he would fold an overpair there, but I did think that he would fold a 9 and definitely possibly a bad jack. So I don't hate our play. So I guess we'll go for another bullet here. The video isn't run on for too long, so I don't see why not. 25 more, dealer. It was an interesting hand. I think that possibly looking back, I can say that I could have put him on a hand maybe stronger than a jack. I mean, he did raise preflop under the gun, which he hadn't done since I'd sat down at this table, and as well he had been playing really really tight on basically all streets. I hadn't seen him get aggressive with any of his hands that weren't the nuts so far. So um, I guess maybe thinking back, I could have just folded on the flop, but since he can also be just barreling twice with ace king, I don't hate it. I mean, he'll fold tons of hands better than ours, and if he calls, we still had with 2 queens. I mean, it's the same as a jack pretty much there. So we had 3 aces and then all the diamonds. Raise it up here with the 4-5 suited, hopefully by position. If Blue Panda says yes. Let's see what he decides to do. I think that our stack off there is just, it's pretty marginal. I think it might be close to okay. $5.10. Sorry, bud. Can't do it. Not with the 5 high. Not when I know I'm behind. But I think, yeah, he's obviously not folding queens. He's obviously not folding ace jack or king jack. But I think that it's possible he lays down a worse jack than king jack, and or queen jack. And I also thought it was possible that he would fold a 9, or actually very likely he would fold a 9. And then obviously he folds all the aces that are beating us. So ace queen, ace 10, or ace king, not ace 10. Ace king, ace 8, all those aces that he's not going to be loving if we just ship it on the turn. And obviously with diamond outs, I think it's totally okay. If you, obviously queens, top set, kings and aces are going to be top of his range there. But if you look at all the other hands, I mean, we're with an ace in our hand, we're about 40% against. Actually, we were on the turn. With an ace in our hand, we're about 25% against all of his other hands. So we only need to get him to fold to our shove there a quarter of the time for that to be a profitable play. And all other times we'll either suck out or not get there and lose the pot. So if he folds, 30% of the time, we win that 55%. I'm going to raise it up to 75 cents here actually, let's just min raise from the big blind. Get some value for our king queen. Flop wonderful for our king queen. 75 cents, dealer. Start wagering now. These players are hard to get value from, I will say that. They do not like putting money into the pot. Let's see what we got here for other games we could possibly be playing right now. I think we can call here. 15 more cents. Panda's just been showing that he's so unlikely to be raising out of the small blind or out of the big blind that we can almost guarantee we're going to get to see a free flop with the queen nine. Doesn't look like there's any games open as of right now, so it looks like we're stuck at this table for now. I'll keep looking, possibly record another video for you guys later tonight. Checked around on the 5-turn card. I think we have no choice but to bet. Queens and nines are probably outs if we are behind. I don't really think we probably were, honestly. I doubt that either of them had king high or even a pair. So just bet and take it down. So we're stuck about 25, a little bit less than $25 on this session, but nothing too crazy. We're going to be getting more aggressive, like I said. I think $1 raise when someone calls plays fine. We're in position, suited connectors. How bad can it be? 350, huh? Against 350 and an all-in. What I was going to say if he had just folded, was that I think that we can definitely put Blue Panda on extremely premium hand and possibly call the 250 more just because we know that our implied odds, if we flop a big draw, if we flop a flush, yeah, we knew he had ace king, so we knew we were getting it all if we hit any sort. Oh wow, that's pretty unlucky. We knew we were going to get it all if we flopped anything relatively good. Unfortunate that he had to lose there to 6-4 clubs, or whatever he had, 2 clubs. But our implied odds was 6-4. My point there was that our implied odds with 6-4 are really, really good. When he has such a strong hand as ace king, he's going to be putting us all in on most flops, and if we flop anything from 6s and 4s to an open ender or a flush draw, we have a good chance to get our money in with decent equity. Miss out on this open-ended straight draw here. Wouldn't have banked it, so interesting to see what these guys have. I still don't see sexy 1091 as being all that good. His check on the river there is decent with ace-9 actually, but still don't see him being all that good. I mean, anyone that buys in for $10 usually doesn't know exactly what they're doing. 3-5 suited in the big blind. I think we'll be defending depending on bet sizing. We know that Blue Panda has sort of a tight preflop range as far as we've seen so far. Decision, don't really have a read on him yet. Haven't really seen him play too many big pots. We know that sexy 1091 is sort of playing a gambling style. I mean, he showed that with the limp all in that last hand. Against a limp, I think we just check. He's shown that he's not likely to fold. So when we flop a flush and have a straight flush redraw, he's shown to be so aggressive and just wanting to get it in with marginal hands that I think we just check. Unfortunate when he checks behind. The king is a good card for us because he actually has a lot of kings in his range. But unfortunately he just says, there you go. A little bit of a tough session for us. We're struggling to get paid off on our big hands, and we're struggling to get folds on our bluffs, but that's poker sometimes, you know. You got to give action to get action, and this table is just not that action friendly, you know. What can you do? The way to combat that is just to play more aggressively, pick up more pots. 6-7 suited, out of position. I say let's give him the business. He can't be raising too strong on the button there. I think $1.80 is fine. Blue Panda would have to wake up with a really premium hand. We flop a gut shot. I don't see any choice but to continue. I think 225 gets the job done a lot of the time. He definitely folds better because we have 7 high. Queen turn card. Definitely think are we getting into fold an 8 or a 4? I don't think we're getting into fold an 8 or a 4. I think he folds hands that are just like ace jack, ace king, so I think we can definitely barrel twice here. And on the 10 on the river, I think we just give up. I don't see him folding. If he checks behind with like king jack, I'm gonna be really sad, but yeah, I think he actually did have some type of a hand, maybe even a queen, possibly. It's always possible. So like I said, none of our bluffs really working out here, and none of our made hands making us any money. But that's poker sometimes. You know, you gotta roll with the punches. But we'll see if we can't try to make some of it back. 3-4 of hearts. I think I like getting a little bit more aggressive on our button. These players have shown to be pretty weak, especially out of position, so I think that I want to be playing lots of hands on our button, basically any 2 cards. We haven't been the most lucky at this table so far, just with, in general, hitting a flop or getting one of our bluffs through, but I don't see how the strategy would lose in the long run, so I really am not unhappy with the way we've played so far. When we turn a pair, and we actually have some showdown value, we beat all the 9s, we beat all the straight draws, we don't beat jacks, we don't beat 10s, we don't beat 8s. When he bets out, I think we just fold, unfortunately. He's too likely to just have a pair, something like a pair and a straight draw, just going for straight up value. Or possibly just a hand like ace jack, thinking there's 3 to a straight, 2 to a flush now. I just got to protect my hand, wanting to get it in. So I don't see how we weren't drawing to a 3 or a 4 there. Another suited connector for us. Raise it up to 80 cents. I think it's at least okay. Get called by decision in the small blind, called by sexy. Flop middle pair, so not a terrible flop for us. Not the greatest flop in the world in 4-way pot though. Decision. When it's checked to us, I definitely think we need to bet. Get some value for our hand against diamond draws, overcards, 8-9, 4-5, hands like that, and also figure out where we are in the hand. If we get called or if we get raised, we can start to make a read based on that. Folding the deuce nine suited under the gun. Like I said, I think that playing at this table more aggressively is going to be more effective in the long run. I mean, these players haven't shown a propensity to, as far as I've seen, I mean, I think that from the way people have been playing generally, I think that our hands have mostly just been, most of our bluffs we've been running into kind of the nuts. I think that hand where we tried to bluff the guy when he had 3 queens, I think he did actually have 3 queens, or possibly an overpair, a full house, something like that. So this table hasn't shown to be too aggressive, and I think that aggression is definitely going to be playing best at this table. Although RJM just made me eat my words. I mean, shipping it over the top for about 27x is definitely an aggressive play. HX offsuit here in the big blind. Going to be raising if it is called. RJM has been showing that he likes to limp his small blind against us, so we'll be telling him none of that, sir. 75 cents. 5, 9, 10. We're likely to still have the best hand if we did pre-flop. On the 10 turn card, I think I like just checking back. Ace Jack offsuit has enough showdown value. We're beating a lot of ace highs. We've counterfeit outs against 6s, 3s, deuces, so I think I like checking. When he bets the river, He bet so quickly. We beat all the misdraws. Yeah, we beat Jack Queen. I think we can call here. Yeah, that was what I was thinking. I think we beat too many of his hands that he checks on the turn are just like 7-8, random ace highs that turn into bluffs, Queen Jack like he had. I think we beat too many of the open enders and just the draws in general to fold. So I would accidentally just call. I did. Shit. Going to be c-betting with the ace-jack, realize our value of ace-jack high, get value from worse, smaller spades, all that kind of good stuff. Again, sort of the same situation we were in last time. I like checking here. It does make our hand look weak and gives him a propensity to bluff because it looks like we're just stabbing once and giving up. But at the same time, I think that our hand is strong enough that we can continue here. When spades bricks, I definitely don't really feel like I believe him if he bets. Yeah, he can definitely have an 8 or a 9, but I really honestly just don't believe him. 4-7. Trips is good, sir. But yeah, I mean, in that spot, he had to have a 4 or 9 pretty much to be able to value bet that river. So I think our call with ace jack there is totally fine. It was just I didn't believe him. I would have liked to see him bet a little bit bigger on the river there. That would have made my call a little bit easier. When he bets so small, it does kind of look like he's just going for straight value, looking to get paid off. But I think that he also knows that our hand is exactly what it is there, is an ace high type hand. So I think that it's sort of a leveling war where we know that he knows. So we know that he is going to be value betting smaller because he knows that our hand is weaker, but we also know that he thinks that he doesn't have to bet as big to get us off of our hand, because when we barrel once and check the turn, our hand looks like exactly what it is. So I don't know if he's thinking that deeply into the hand, but that was definitely part of my thought process, is that he probably thinks that he only has to bet that if he just has a hand like king jack or any random queen highs or jack highs or something like that he thinks will just fold an ace high too. So we're 1 for 1 with the old ace jack hero call. You get a 25-cent. Oh, 1 second. See if connection to game server lost. Well, if we can't reconnect you guys, I'm gonna have to end this video. Hopefully we can though. See if we can't reopen the site. Get this going for you guys. Alright, we got it. One second, guys. Okay, back at it. 1 second, let me get this. There we go. I am back. So, stuck about $35 commission, but nothing out of the ordinary. We've been a little bit unlucky in spots. I don't love all the spots we chose to bluff. We've also just had trouble getting paid off with our made hands. It's not like we've been running bad or anything, just one of those days. So we'll play, I think we should play about one more orbit and then call it quits. Try to run it up as much as possible. 75 cents dealer. Raising it up here with the ace-9. It's a little loose under the gun +1, but at a 5-handed table where everyone's been playing so passively, I don't think that it is that bad. When Blue Panda re-raises, I was going to consider calling, but when he shoves, I think we just fold. I don't think Blue Panda's doing that light enough to fold to an all-in, so guess he is. So it's interesting to note that it's possible that he's not 3-betting extremely strong all the time. Raise it up here under the gun with 10-5. It's, again, super loose, but I think it's close to okay at a table that's playing so passively. Take that one down. So yeah, stuck about 34, right? 25, yeah, 33. Post to big line. Ace King's offsuit in the big blinds. Hopefully Sexy 1091 decides to do something aggressive. He does not. Be raising it up. I like a little bigger since we're out of position. I'd like to make the pot heads up if possible. Or just win it pre-flop, that works too. 5x is a little large there, but since we've been doing that with a lot of marginal hands too, it has to be fine because our range is extremely balanced there. Ace Jack offsuit, I think we'll be doing the same thing. Again, would like to get the pot heads up, would like to just take it down pre-flop if possible. We'll see if they will limp fold to us again one more time. 6-6-7, we have likely the best hand, backdoor spades, 2 overs if we are wrong. On the 7 turn card, I'm definitely liking our hand, but I don't think we're getting to fold better. So I think we can call here once. On an 8 river, I think we just check. If he bets again, I really just don't see how we're losing this. Yeah, I think we can call here. Queen 3, yeah. It just looked so much like he had a hand like a draw, or a hand like a worse ace high, maybe. I mean, I don't know if our call there is exactly great. He can definitely just have a lot of 6s that are just value shoving. Even like 4s or 5s might value shove on that river. But, I mean, what hands with those cards in it is he limp calling with? I guess maybe small pairs, but again, he was playing so weirdly and aggressively that I just felt like folding ace jack on the river there was a mistake. I think we're probably winning that about half the time, and we were getting about 2-1. So I don't think that it was a bad play by any means, but I definitely was not expecting to win the pot. Like, oh, I'm sure we win this 80% of the time, anything like that. So let's just say we'll play till our next button. How about that? Seems fine. Or actually, let's play till our next big line. Let's play 2 more hands. I'm not trying to